My wife's been with me since senior year in high school. She's been through all of it. She's seen it all. She knows the sacrifices because she's lived the sacrifices herself as well. I was validated not from anything that happened on the field, but because of my worth in God and my Father. And I'm just so incredibly thankful. In that moment you're talking about, I just felt like I was just so undeserving of what that was in that moment, because it was, the people that I've been able to play with, the people that I've been around, the players that I get to play with, to come into work with every single day, the coaches that I get to work with, to collaborate with. It's just been the perfect team, the perfect setup. I'm just so thankful for everyone that's been around me. It was, it really, I don't know if it still really hasn't hit me.
He had good chemistry with Jared Goff. He has tremendous chemistry with Matthew Stafford, a Super Bowl champion, a Super Bowl MVP. He was talking about being with his wife since back in high school when he wore ankle weights under his jeans to gain strength in his legs. Shriggs, I look at you in that final drive by this Rams squad. They knew there were 4 Bengals at all times around Cooper Kupp, but he could not be stopped. He's calling him too nifty. What did you make about that final drive with the Rams that also decided it?
A story that led to that, right? Because Odell goes down. They were rolling. Odell goes down.
Yeah, they look good.
They don't have Higbee. And you're like, okay, someone step up here. Van Jefferson wasn't really clicking on some of those plays. And then Ben Skoralnek, number 18, became like the go-to guy. And they were just incomplete. They couldn't get it going, and no one was able to just really emerge. This 3rd and 7 here, and you're like, all right, just heave it deep, and Van Jefferson's not making that one-handed catch. There were players that have not been asked to make big plays throughout this game that were supposed to step up when Odell went down. And 18, Skoralnek, I keep on saying his name wrong. I'm sorry, Ben. He had a couple big plays at the end, but he's not a go-to guy in the Super Bowl. That's not what you want. Skowronek. You don't want Skowronek being your guy. That ain't it. And yet, Kupp was being double-teamed because they immediately went to man-to-man once Odell went down. And then on the final drive, after them having to rely on, what was the young man, the Purdue rookie who was a tight end that had the game, Hopkins?
Number 88,
Hopkins.
yes.
Bryson Hopkins. Making huge, and you're like, the Super Bowl is not when these guys are supposed to get their first action. And yet, when they needed them most, Cooper Kupp was like, let's just do what we do. And this play here on 4th down to call a running play for Cooper Kupp to get it going. It became a one-man show, and everyone in the building and all 11 defenders knew it was going to number 10 in every big play, and they couldn't stop him because of that cosmic chemistry that those two guys have. It's something that is long sought after. It is something that is not tangible. It is absolute trust, and the two of them are on the same page at all times. And it wasn't going to be Skowronek, or it wasn't going to be Bryson Hopkins.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't. That's the point, though, that you're making.
Well, but like,
we respect him, but like it wasn't.
Odell goes down, Robert Woods goes down, Higbee goes down, and at the end, it's like, we've got Cooper Kupp. We're going to be okay. And I think it's a pretty cool deal.
Yeah. When you look at Cooper Kupp's story this year, you look at what happened in the Super Bowl. I think it's a teachable moment for all young wide receivers. You heard me earlier in the show talk about Cooper Kupp is just doing ordinary things a little extra. He's just doing what the play is called to do. And to me, that's what makes it awesome. And that last drive you're talking about, he didn't do anything particularly special. He just ran the play that was called. And I think a big reason why it was hard to double him on some of those plays on that last drive is because of where he lines up. He lines up all over the place.
Yep.
And to be able to have the football IQ to, I'm playing the X, this is how I'm entering the defense. Oh, the next play, I'm playing the F. This is how I'm entering the
Different
defense.
positions.
How are they going to double me? There's the help is coming from the safety. No, it's the 3 techniques dropping. Oh, yeah, and the next play, I'm the Z, and I got to go in motion.
So true.
I mean, you know how much that just is taxing on the brain, and how much football IQ you got to have to be able to do that. That's what makes Cooper Kupp very difficult to guard.
Really well
that's
said,
what
dude.
makes him the Triple Crown winner, and that's why on that last drive, they fed the ball to their best player when they needed it the most. I can't say enough glowing things about Cooper Kupp and Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford for getting the ball to their best player on that last drive when they needed it.
I mentioned the game-winning touchdown play was called 15 Wanda, now X fade, and Peter King has that. He also lays out just what you're talking about. That play's supposed to be an Odell play.
Yes.
If Cooper's inside, he's doing his thing, and Odell is way out there, and the outside will throw it up one-on-one, and Cooper's like, well, I'll do it. Let's just go to Kupp, and they threw it to him, and he made the play. I also want to say, Matthew Stafford, excuse me, the question going into this season, going into the playoffs, going into the Super Bowl. Can he answer the bell? Can he make the big play? And my gosh, the throw against the Buccaneers, sure. The late drive against the Niners, get him in field goal range. And then that game-winning drive. Like, he did. He answered the bell. He did it. He did not blow the game. He did not throw the big pick six. He did it week after week and had a really good playoff run. And I have to take my hat off. It's an unbelievable thing that he did. This Bengals team had something so special going, and they're winning in the fourth quarter. And that, if you believe that there is a tightening of the larynx of certain athletes as they try to breathe in the fourth quarter, if the Rams lost this game, Matthew Stafford's name this morning would be mud, and so would McVay's, and they knew it, and they knew they had to win this thing, and they were both great at the end of the game, and I was impressed with both of them.
I wouldn't be surprised if Matthew Stafford sees another one of these things before he...
Yeah?
How come?
I think this...
Once you get that...
Yeah, I think this offseason gave him so... I mean, not this offseason, this postseason run gave him so much confidence,
No
man.
doubt.
I mean, I'm looking at the last 2 minutes in that game, and I'm thinking... Matthew Stafford is going to do a Matthew Stafford thing here.
Really? Even though the past 3 weeks?
Even though the past 3
You still
weeks.
thought-
This is the biggest game of his life.
I'll throw him on.
And oftentimes, when do we see Matthew Stafford mess up? In the biggest games, in the biggest moments. And I was waiting to see it happen, and it didn't.
Not anymore.
And he executed. And to your point, all throughout the playoffs, he's executed. And so I think Matthew Stafford now is like, oh, let me put on these new glasses. I think he has a new lens on football. I think you'll see Matthew Stafford in
He's got as many Super Bowl rings now as Rodgers, as many as Breeze, and he and Clayton Kershaw, two of the great winners in LA sports.
Hey, how about that?
Is that not nuts?
Wow.